Disappointed to learn that today, no Friday Fun Day report on sexual harassment in the Treasurer's office. We were promised that report was coming out today, and for some reason it hasn't. I wonder why. With that in mind, let's welcome back to the program with the Inside Scoop, Mary Ann Ahern, political reporter for NBC5, and she joins us on our Turnkey .pro answer line. Good morning, Mary Ann.
Good morning.
So, Marianne, were you shocked about this monumental about-face that he's not going to release that independent investigators report?
Well, I had to think when the campaign folks were saying we're 95% sure this report's coming out Friday morning, there was going to be a news conference. I mean, it's I thought a little unorthodox, but this whole thing has been that way. Dan Rutherford's the one that told us about these allegations. He also promised he would talk to us at every turn. Don't worry, I'll give you whatever I can give you. And now, to not get this report really leaves a huge, I mean, there was already a cloud. How much bigger cloud could there be?
Yeah, it's circumspect at best. But what are they telling? So have you tried to interview him, and have they shut it down?
Well, they keep telling us he's busy downstate. I wonder where he is today. I have interviewed his attorney over the phone. Now he has a new attorney. Mm-hmm. So they have been served officially with the lawsuit yesterday. He hired a private attorney, Peter Angelikovich. He's not a campaign guy. He's going to represent him in federal court. So he says, tough, you're not talking anymore.
Are our tax dollars going to pay for that private attorney?
No. Tax dollars are not paying for the private attorney. However, the tax dollars did pay for the report. So, of course, lots of folks, including us, are going to try to FOIA that report to get a hold of it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to get a copy of it. We'll certainly try.
We had Pat Brady on, the former chairperson of the Republican Party here in the state yesterday. Now he works as a political consultant. You know that. And he thought if he was advising Dan Rutherford at this point, he would say, all right, you've kind of overexposed yourself. You haven't come up with answers that's really are very convincing for us, so it's best that he lays low for a while. The damage has been done. We'll see how he does coming up here on primary day in March. But I would imagine a lot of people thought, okay, you might have gone a little too far with the initial press conference and all the subsequent media availability afterwards. Is that what you're hearing, Marianne?
Absolutely. And yet, John, there are debates ahead. There's a debate next week in Springfield. There's, of course, ours at Channel 5. There's one at Channel 7. There's some major debates ahead. I can't imagine that this question is not going to be asked, and he's going to have to say, sorry, I can't talk about it. If you're heading into the polls and you're going to have four choices on the Republican primary, is that the choice you're going to pick when there's lingering questions?
Well, what about this Joshua Lanning article that the Chicago Tribune wrote about his assistant, the executive assistant to the state treasurer? Have you tried to speak to him?
I have tried to speak to Josh. I even have Josh's cell phone. Josh is the guy to go to get to Dan Rutherford, although Dan is very accessible usually as well. And so, yes, I have tried to reach him, and he's not talking. Now, is he not talking because he doesn't want to talk and he doesn't have anything to complain about, or have they shut him down? I've also exchanged text messages back and forth last night with Ed Michalowski, who filed the suit. Well, of course, he says, hey, why aren't they putting this report out? Well, if they've got nothing to hide, and says they never interviewed me. If they were doing this internal report, why didn't they come and ask me?
Wow, that's new information. They didn't even talk to him?
That's what he told me last night. Now, whether they left him alone because they knew he was filing a suit, but if he's the guy that's the main witness, the main complainer, wouldn't you go to the source?
Marianne, in your years of covering politics here, is this the smelliest scandal that you've dealt with? It's just very uncomfortable.
Remember the Paris sex club? That one wasn't too bad either. So
Jack Ryan, yeah, I know that.
No, I thought dinner and a movie on Saturday night was pretty good, but boy, a trip to Paris, that really was over the top.
Mary Ann Ahern is here, a political reporter for Channel 5. Kirk Dillard picked up a significant endorsement yesterday from a teachers union. Do you think that will give his candidacy a boost?
Well, he needs some cash, so that might help if getting him on the air, but he's also going to have to answer the question. The IEA supports the progressive income tax. Does he support the progressive income tax? And we're going to try to find out where he stands on that. He also had sort of this odd, when we were all talking to him, Bruce Rauner had said, hey, you're kind of holding the unions at one point in a debate, and he said, no, I'm not. and sort of dismissed that he ever got any money from unions 4 years ago. So I wonder where the IEA stands on that, because he was like, I'm not sure I ever got that check. I think he did. So that you can't say no when you need some support, and certainly the IEA has big numbers, and you'd like to have them out there for you. But then you've got to wonder, how closely tied are you to that union?
Do you think it's going to hurt Bruce Rauner now that the Chicago Teachers Union is vowing to put out some advertisements, anti-Rauner campaign?
It might hurt. It might raise some questions, but I don't think in this primary, the real battle. This is going to be one great race come November. It looks to be shaping up to be one. Mm-hmm. I would say the teachers' union is going to have more of a voice probably than they are in the primary.
Hey, I wanted to go back to Dan Rutherford real quickly and Joshua Lanning. Do you know the nature of their relationship? I mean, could they just have this been a platonic, an actual working relationship? Because when you go overseas, when you go to Israel and Korea, you need to have a posse with you. I mean, you're the state treasurer. You can't just go by yourself. And if he's not married, he wouldn't, he'd need someone to travel with, don't you think?
Right. From all we know is that he was his, executive assistant. They were close friends, that they've known each other for many years. Josh, as I understand it, I believe he has a child. He has a girlfriend. I don't know what their relationship is, to tell you the truth. But unless Josh wants to step and tell us what's going on, if he found it odd that he had to stay in the same room with his boss, he's not complaining about it. We got to leave it alone, as far as I can see.
I agree. Mary Ann Ahern, have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're doing something special with your husband tonight.
Thank you. We'll try.
And we'll have you back soon with an update, okay?
Thank you so much.
Mary Ann Ahern on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're all